Good evening. I'm excited to bring you Sierra Nevada's 2015 Beer Camp Hoppy Lager. And it's a spring seasonal, available one time only. So just for spring 2015, I almost said 14, 2015. And I'm excited about this because I've seen it a couple of times, not in six packs, but in cases, and I didn't want to buy 18 of them, and they were $18 or $19 for the pack. And so I wanted to try it individually, and I found it at Trader Joe's locally in an individual bottle because I guess the rest of the case got broken or damaged or whatever. So I swooped that right up to give it a shot. So they put on here that it's a hoppy lager, which is 7% alcohol by volume and 55 IBUs. So that makes it interesting to try to categorize. Neither of those characteristics in and of themselves are like lagers. So at best, lagers can have up to 25 IBUs and 6% alcohol by volume. So we've already exceeded that, which pushes it into the specialty beer category. I took a couple of looks around. It says on the bottle it's talking about being a blonde lager, and I looked at a couple of other categories and it also doesn't fit. So I think instead of reading out of the book, trying to judge it that way, I'm just going to share with you my opinion as I go through aroma, taste, color, overall impression, things like that. So I'm excited to try this because Sierra Nevada really puts out some great beers, and I've been excited about getting into spring beers because they're starting to appear on the shelves, and I've just been so busy I haven't been able to do it. So cheers to spring 2015. Everybody on the East Coast is wondering what I'm talking about, but I'm in California, so it's getting springy. I see flowers on the cherry trees, so spring is coming, so we can drink spring beer now. Okay, so as far as aroma goes, it's definitely hoppy. The first thing I get out of this is a piney, citrusy, intense hoppiness, a floral hoppiness. And so it's not, I think floral is the important word there. Definitely a floral hops, but intense. So there's some sweetness that goes back behind it, and I can smell definitely like the lager smell to it. And lagers to me smell like corn, like a sweet corn. A lot of lagers, American lagers, are made with corn as an adjunct, and so that's where that smell really comes from. And so I didn't even look up the ingredients, so I can't speak to whether or not they have done that here, but I get that impression, so I can see how this is going to end up being a hoppy lager, and so I'm interested in giving it a try. So before I drink it, appearance. Nice, beautiful golden color. It's a little hazy. It's not crystal clear, so it's not like a crystal Weizen would be, I don't know that I've ever really seen a hazy lager necessarily, and this almost speaks to what I would be expecting in a Hefeweizen or something like that. But it's not cloudy, it's just a little hazy. Looks like it's got some good carbonation going on. It did pour with a decent head that has dissipated. Let's get in and taste this. Wow, this is kind of like a flavor party. There's so much going on in this, and I don't even know where to begin. Wow, this is very, very interesting. So, my initial, hold on, one more drink. Trying to organize my thoughts. Okay, my initial thought. It's definitely a lager. It tastes like what you would expect out of, God, what are some really good lager-style beers? I don't say Budweiser because a lot of people get scared away when they hear the word Budweiser. But Budweiser, Heineken, Corona, all of those lager-style ales have a very characteristic flavor to them. You know, like I was explaining about the smell, it has that corn kind of sweetness to it. So this beer definitely has that corn-like sweetness to it. And so as far as a lager is concerned, I think it's right on as in aroma, appearance for the most part, and flavor. Where it gets interesting is that the taste goes from a sweet light lager to a more intense hoppy finish, and then it has like a not acidic, what's the word I'm looking, an astringent finish, and drying kind of feel to it. So, and it says actually right here that it's a blonde lager for a crisp but aggressive take on the India-style pale lager. And so what they're trying to do is like an IPA lager blend, and I think they have done beautifully. It's probably just a perfect match of lager lightness and hop aggressiveness that we're getting out of an American IPA style. So they've done a really good job doing that. I even want to drink it again. Yeah, a couple of drinks in, the hop balance, the hop bitterness, and the hop finish really pair well with the lager sweetness. It's actually a pretty enjoyable beer. I imagine that this would be a great beer for warmer days. And one of my summer go-to beers historically has been either Corona or Landshark. I like Landshark, although it's harder to find sometimes. And this really kind of is like, I don't even know, I'm going to make up a term here, like craft lager. And they've done a good job, I think, kind of breaking out of the IPA style characteristics that we've come to expect and the lager style characteristics that we've come to expect, and put them together in a way I think that's very that makes this a very agreeable beer. I think that people who aren't into craft beer would probably enjoy this. I mean, it's definitely different, and will offer something different to their palate. But people who enjoy craft beer will often also appreciate this beer, and can probably taste the American lager in it, but in a way that I think is enjoyable. So again, it's 7% alcohol by volume, so it's definitely not a session ale. This is a hard-hitting beer, and 55 IBUs. I always forget what the IPA the American IPA IBU standards are, because I always feel like the ones that I'm drinking are in the 75 range, and I think that an American IPA is actually rated as high as 55. So I have said in the past to people that I don't particularly like beers that are over 55 IBUs, but I've come to find out that that's just too inflexible of a standard, because there are beers that I drink that are in the 75 range that are just smooth and agreeable and drinkable, and then beers in the 55 range that, I think there's even a beer out there called Face Puncher IPA that just feels like I got punched in the face. So let me go pop over here to the American IPA BJCP category and just read real quick. Okay, so it says here that it's between 40 and 70. So this definitely fits into the American IPA category as far as alcohol by volume and IBUs, but it has such a sweet, light, refreshing, crisp lager flavor that goes with it, and aroma as well. So great job, I think, to Sierra Nevada for melding these two, what would pretty much always be disparate categories, in a way that's really enjoyable. If you like lagers, or you like IPAs, or you just really like interesting craft beers, I definitely recommend that you give this a try. I think it's a great beer. Now I'm even more excited when I see these beer camp boxes out there to give them a try. So I'm sure you're going to be seeing more videos to that effect. Thank you so much for watching. Share with me down below what your comments are if this is something that you've given a try. Particularly if you are a Sierra Nevada pale ale fan, because that's pretty easy to get a hold of, pretty widespread, agreeable beer that a lot of people like. So I'd like to kind of hear your opinions that compare the two. So thank you so much for watching, and have a great night.